try to use a lot of examples so that, and I know the entire school education fraternity is here, so, and I'm sure you'll be able to relate to it. And it's going to be a total story what happens inside a school. Okay, my topic is school-based assessments, a diagnostic perspective. So, whenever I start my class, and let's assume this is my class, we start with rules. And it's not me who frames the rules, it's the team, it's the entire class. And the rule for this classroom is, English definitely would be the medium of instruction. Time, I'll try to finish off in 20 minutes. High on attention, and I know it's damn difficult post-lunch. Mobile phones you already know, and question answers, yes. Here comes the rubrics. Now I have the rubrics here right in front of you, and I'm going to assess my audience here. Okay, and I thank CAER training sessions, the entire team of CAER, for teaching me and my school, and I think spreading the entire wave of assessment in the country. So thank you so much, first of all. Okay, now story. We love stories, right? So story of two head girls. One head girl, absolutely good in academics. Perfect, 99%, 98%, or good grades and all. Another head girl, again good in studies, probably 90-95%, marks, and very good in co-curricular activities. And when it came to the announcement of the best student of the year trophy, the girl who was academically brilliant got the trophy. And I wish at that time CCE was there. I would have won that trophy. So thank you CBSE for CCE. Okay, my topic. Thank you so much, I badly need it, thank you. Especially when you're talking in front of great educationist and the chairman. It's damn difficult. Okay, are teachers doctors too? Yes or no? That's for you to decide. These three terms we normally use interchangeably. Measurement, evaluation, assessment. They're very different, and that's why CAER has both. Assessment and evaluation, clearly highlighting that these are very, very different terms. And Sadhna ma'am has already, talked about assessment. We all know this, okay? But the base of my presentation and the entire assessment programs that we follow in the school, we follow Bloom's taxonomy and Kulshestra Natarajan taxonomy, the KN taxonomy. And he's my teacher, he's my guide who's guided me through whatever I learned today is because of him. And this taxonomy is very instrumental in designing a lot of wonderful tools for the co-scholastic areas. Diagnostic, I'll come to this later. Why diagnostic? I'm sorry, my throat is bad. We all go to doctor, right? And when do we go to the doctors? We go to the doctors there and then, the moment we realize we're not well. We don't do that post 2 months, when PTM happens, parent-teacher meets, right? 2 months gone. So we need to understand why diagnostic. Professor Nandit mentioned about KBC, and it is a fantastic example of a wonderful experience of going through an examination. If you clearly understand what KBC model is all about, the first question is the most easiest question. Can anybody tell why? They don't want to lose their 1 crore or 2 crore rupees for that. It's because they want to make the experience comfortable. And the way the test taker behaves is really, really important. There are gaps or illnesses in learning. So possible reasons for these learnings or gaps in learning, these are common reasons. Holidays are there, change of school, teachers, methods, varying abilities, unclear instructions, assessment parameters unknown, complicated methods, connectivity lost. Now, for us, PTM is the most scary day. It's a complaint day, right? All parents geared up, and they are ready to, talk to the school. But the idea of conducting a PTM is diagnostic problem solving. And I'm going to share some slides with you on this as well. Schools have antibiotics with them. And that is what is needed, when you diagnose an illness, the doctor gives us an antibiotic. We should be doing the same, with our parents, with our children in the school. Okay, when we fall ill, doctor prescribes us a lot of tests. Is it like the one test that doctor prescribes, or there are like n number of tests? Okay, why don't you go for this one or that one? Why is it that in education we just have one test? A pen paper test, that's it. So there are a lot of tests available to us. We have a pen paper test, we have an open book examination test, books are open, check out, but here the motive of the paper is learning, not testing. Revision through teaching session. Now this is something which is very innovative. We tried in our school for like 7 to 8 years back, where a 5th standard child will teach a 4th standard child. A 4th standard child will teach a 3rd standard child. Any one topic where he feels he's the best or she's the best. And believe me, it's an experience to be in that class. They behave like teachers, they copy their teachers, and that is assessment. Open web exams, yes, it's an online world, and technology and a lot of technology integration happening everywhere. So open web exam. Confidence level rating. Now we've written a research paper in this, in an international journal, where we've come up with a rating scale, because parents frequently come and tell them, our kid is not confident. Why do you want to put your child in the school? Because he should be confident. Now confident is a very, very, quantitative as well as qualitative term. So qualitatively, confidence could be handled in a co-scholastic area, but quantitatively, you can access to it by going through the research paper. The partial credit model. The partial credit model is like, why is it that we frame a 30-item multiple choice question? We did it for 4th and 5th graders in English, mathematics, and science. Why to give 1 mark and a 0 mark to every multiple choice item? You could give 4 credits to the best answer, 3 credits to the next best answer. And believe me, if you calculate the reliability, it turns out to be more than 0.8, which is higher than the ETS standards. So these are certain kind of tests, we've done, at our school, and we have the research papers available. So in case you have questions, we all know this. This is very much part of the CCE manual. We've added something to this, because CBSE does not stop you to innovate. They give you the guidance, but now the key is in your hands, and this is the prescription. When we go to a doctor, they give you a schedule. Okay, you have this medicine daily. This is like once in a month, once in a week. So this is like our assessment scheme, prescribed schedule. Now open book exams. These are vitamin B complex, right? They should be given time and again, and develops critical thinking. It helps to diagnose gaps. I'll give you an example here. One of the questions that we use in open book examination, formula of water, H2O. What is the formula of steam? Not written in the book. Go check it out, cheat, do whatever you want to. Till the time your concept is not clear, you'll not be able to understand. Revision through teaching sessions. 5th standard child teaching 4th standard child, a fantastic experience. This is interesting, knowledge polish, a folic acid tablet. And this is something, which, when somebody conceives a baby, the doctor prescribes a folic acid tablet. And we need to nurture that baby to get the final product. And here the final product is our examinations. Do we orient children towards examinations? There's a theory behind the examination, and the knowledge polish is actually, folic acid tablet that helps to nurture the process of examination, so that the child is very, very clear when the child absolutely experiences the real examination scenario. Anchor activities. These are macronutrients. Now what are anchor activities? A teacher is teaching in the class, and suddenly, the smartest of the lot gets up, work done, and starts troubling others. These are the backup activities. You can use them in your classes, and believe me, they really, really work, and there are ample activities available in all the subjects, specifically English, mathematics, and science. Brain work. Now these are like, the brain boosters. We give it to the parents and the, children at home, and a hare and a tortoise story could be, understood and rewritten in a different format. It's like a honey tuss. I need a honey tuss badly. Word wall. We always complain that the child is not able to write content in their own word, right? Have we given children the words? Do they have the variety of words so that they can put those words into sentences? And this is what this word wall does. And the problem is phonetics as well. The breakfast will never change to breakfast. The restaurant will never change, it'll be restaurant. Can't do much on this. So the problem, the diagnose is not the child, it's the language spoken at home. So this goes to the home. Spellings, oh my God, every time PTM there's a problem. Ma'am, the spellings are not fine, he's not able to write. This is the medicine. You can cure spellings through word search. Word web, you can add vocabulary, you can make the child write essay very easily. And let him clear all the entrance exams where vocabulary is needed, no problems. Timeline, this is like a Yakult, a probiotic drink, right? So when is it used? It is used when at 2 stages, when the child comes from another school or another state or another country, and there are a lot of gaps in the curriculum mapping process. So this really works wonders. And what about a PTM feedback like this? Teachers comment, Chahat is able to answer these questions with low as well as high difficulty value, but she could not answer question 14. She needs to revise some of the basic concepts like structure of leaf. Rather than giving a feedback, science is not good. She's not good in science is not a very clear feedback. We need to understand what is wrong in science. What is the illness, what is the gap? Nip in the bud there and then, get the chapter cleared, that's the gap, and the illness is gone, the child is back to normal, the body starts working. Bi-monthly dosages, we all give homeworks, right? Can we give homework in advance? 2 months, we know Indian situations, oh, we have weddings, we have family functions, we have all that, and let the child map his homework to what happens in the class. Believe me, the performance levels really go high. Exam capsules. These are wonderful, wonderful capsules. Why is it that, we teach a concept and the child is expected to vomit there and then? Why not give child experience, to different formats of examination, different formats of framing questions, different formats of framing the items, and let him be very, very prepared and confident before actually experiencing the real examination scenario. The concept maps. Oh ma'am, he forgets, he has a very small attention span. He doesn't sit at one place. You can actually start with the reading of a lesson by making him draw concept maps. Believe me, this really works well. Now, Chapter Connect, a multivitamin tablet. Nothing becomes out of syllabus after this. This is very important, tools in co-scholastic aspects of learning. We all know this, but it's just, we just try to use very few of the tools. We just use anecdotal records and observations and some direct questionnaires. But there's so many tools available, like for example, you have these rating scales, psychological changes, cueing techniques, sociogram for social skill analysis. All these techniques are available, and it's just that we need to train our teachers to, to get equipped to use these, skills. Now, antibiotics in co-scholastic aspects. This is very interesting. We tell a child to join a sport. Okay, you join cricket, and another one will join football. But it's very important to that before he makes a decision, there is a guidance from the school side. Why football? What is good about him in the football, and what is something which he needs to hone or improve? These are certain things that we use in our school, and these are called painkillers, because they're real painkillers in the real life situations as well. Where even if you tell an engineer to write an email after post-graduation, sell his product, the engineer is not able to do that. We learn 12 years of English, we learn grammar, we learn all sort of things, but it's difficult to speak, so these are the painkillers. Post-diagnosis timely feedback and reporting. You can prepare these reports, and that is the kind of feedback, a parent wants on PTMs. You can prepare a chapter-wise class performance, you can prepare an outcome-wise class performance, question-wise class performance, student performance, history, and believe me, there are organizations like Pearson, Merit Nation, Merit Track, and educational initiatives. They have these ready-made softwares that can help you do that very easily and comfortably in your school. This is very interesting. We did a case study in our school. We call it a green tea analysis. We all drink green tea, right? And it produces antioxidants. Assessments can also do that. And we tell a child to fix up a goal right at the beginning of the year. And that is what actually the child achieves, very well mapped to the CBSE's grading scales. And children color their report cards. Children do not understand grades and numbers. And it's the child who has to be assessed. So the feedback has to be given to the child, not to the parent or to the world. The co-scholastic areas, if that's the kind of feedback comes from the co-scholastic areas, how good a person is in yoga? How well has the child improved in yoga, gymnastics, swimming, or whatever? So we've designed a 3-point or 5-point grading scale, which gets mapped to CBSE CCE format for assessing the co-scholastic areas of assessment. A few points to ponder. Are teachers doctors too? Well, that's for you to decide. Why does a parent put his child in school? It's for preparation of life. What good happens to a child after school is the true assessment of a good school. It is very important for a school that once a child graduates from a school, enters the higher education program and then enters the industry, we need to go back and ask the child how well the child did. And has any of our learnings been beneficial to the child? That's going to be the criteria of a good school. And that's not going to be the criteria where you have a lot of technology and you have fancy labs and stuff like that. That is not the benchmark to understand a school. Let's connect schools to universities and industry, and schools cannot work in isolation because that's going to be half diagnosis. And half diagnosis, ladies and gentlemen, is very dangerous. So let's not do it, and let's connect schools to industry and higher education programs. Thank you so much. And before I conclude, I'd like to, like any other student, I'd like to thank my teacher, Dr. V. Natarajan, who's a professor emeritus, a contemporary of Bloom, and whatever I've been able to share with you is all because this is what I've learned from him. Thank you so much. And the first slide, you have been an excellent audience or not. The assessment rubrics were right there in front of you. You know your result. Thank you so much.